Even 8 decades after the fall of Nazi Germany, the shadows of the Third Reich still linger beneath the soil, behind hidden walls, and in the silent corridors of abandoned fortresses. Across Europe, chilling discoveries continue to surface: artifacts, bunkers, graves, and secret caches that speak of a dark regime's ambitions and atrocities. Each find is a time capsule, sealed in fear, cruelty, and mystery, reminding us that the past is never truly buried. From vast underground complexes carved by slave labor, to skeletons lying forgotten in Hitler's strongholds, to caches of weapons and gold that still whisper of war, these are not just historical curiosities, they are fragments of one of the most terrifying chapters in human history. Beneath the rolling hills and dense forests of Europe, the Nazis carved out vast underground worlds, some so large and secretive that their full purpose remains a mystery even today. One of the most haunting examples is Project Rise in Poland's Owl Mountains. This colossal network of tunnels and halls, stretching for miles, was built by thousands of concentration camp prisoners under unimaginable conditions. Many never saw daylight again, dying in darkness from exhaustion, disease, and brutality. Historians still debate whether it was meant to house secret weapons facilities, a command center for Hitler, or even a last refuge for Nazi leadership. What is certain is that the dead were buried not in graves, but in the very walls they built. But not all discoveries are buried in the wilderness. In Guernsey, a quiet island in the English Channel once occupied by German forces, homeowners stumbled upon a sealed Nazi bunker beneath their property. Inside, they found rusting steel doors, cramped rooms, and a chilling message still scrawled on the wall: "Beware, the enemy is listening." It was as if the war had ended only yesterday. These bunkers were more than shelters, they were symbols of paranoia and control. Every entrance was designed to trap invaders, every corridor a potential choke point. In the event of capture, the soldiers inside were often ordered to destroy the site and themselves. Today, walking through these shadowed tunnels feels like entering the lungs of a dead beast, silent, suffocating, and heavy with the presence of those who suffered to build them. Grim uncovering of 5 skeletons, an infant, child, 2 adults, and an elderly person with missing hands and feet beneath Goering's villa in the Wolf's Lair, prompting speculation about ritualistic or sinister motives. In 2025, archaeologists excavating near the ruins of the Wolf's Lair, Adolf Hitler's heavily fortified wartime headquarters in present-day Poland, made a discovery that chilled even seasoned historians. Beneath the grounds of a villa once used by Luftwaffe chief Hermann Goering, they uncovered the skeletal remains of 5 individuals. The scene was unsettling enough, but the condition of the remains raised even darker questions. Each skeleton was missing its hands and feet. No official records mention such a burial, and no one knows who they were. Were they victims of execution, witnesses silenced forever, or part of some ritualistic act tied to Nazi occult beliefs? The Wolf's Lair itself was already a place of fear. Surrounded by dense forest, guarded by minefields, and encased in thick concrete, it was both a military nerve center and a personal fortress for Hitler. It's where the infamous 1944 assassination attempt by Klaus von Stauffenberg failed, sealing the fates of countless German resistance members. To find graves, especially of children, within its boundaries is a reminder that the atrocities of the regime weren't confined to the front lines or the camps. They could happen anywhere the Nazis held power, even in the shadows of their highest command. Today, the site is open to the public, but those who walk its cracked, moss-covered paths sometimes say the forest feels watchful. Sometimes, the ghosts of Nazi Germany are found not in forests or bunkers, but behind the very walls of ordinary homes. In 2016, a history teacher in Germany stumbled across what can only be described as a perfectly preserved time capsule from 1945, sealed away for more than 70 years. While renovating a house once used by the Hitler Youth, he noticed a hollow-sounding patch of wall. Breaking through, he uncovered a small, airtight chamber packed with Nazi-era objects: gas masks, a revolver, military medals, swastika badges, bundles of wartime newspapers, and personal letters still smelling faintly of old tobacco and damp paper. The find was more than just a collection of artifacts. It was a frozen moment from the war's final days, when defeat was certain and panic gripped the regime. Many Nazis tried to hide weapons, uniforms, and propaganda to avoid incrimination, or perhaps in the hope of a future revival. Other caches have been found buried in forests, submerged in lakes, or tucked into attics. Some contain looted valuables from Jewish families, others military documents never meant to see the light of day. Each discovery offers a glimpse into a desperate, collapsing empire that still clung to its ideology even as it crumbled. Standing before such a cache, you can almost hear the hurried hands that packed it, fearful, determined, and unaware that their secrets would one day be exposed to the world. Among the most disturbing legacies of Nazi Germany are the medical experiments carried out in its concentration camps, acts of cruelty committed under the guise of science. These were not mere violations of ethics, they were calculated tortures designed to push the limits of human suffering. At Dachau, prisoners were subjected to hypothermia experiments to test survival in freezing water. Victims were stripped naked, immersed in ice-filled vats, and left to lose consciousness while doctors recorded the stages of death. Others endured high-altitude experiments, locked in low-pressure chambers to simulate extreme flight conditions, their lungs bursting as they gasped for air. In Auschwitz, Dr. Josef Mengele, known as the Angel of Death, conducted twin studies that remain infamous for their sadism. Identical twins, often children, were subjected to invasive surgeries, deliberate infections, and bizarre genetic tests. When one twin died, the other was killed so their bodies could be compared. Women were forcibly sterilized with radiation or caustic chemicals. Prisoners were deliberately infected with diseases like typhus to test vaccines. Most died, either from the illness or the treatment. These experiments had no genuine scientific merit. They were fueled by Nazi ideology, which viewed certain groups, Jews, Roma, the disabled, as expendable. Out of thousands of victims, only a fraction survived, and most bore lifelong scars, both physical and psychological. After the war, the horrors revealed during the Nuremberg doctors' trial shocked the world into establishing the Nuremberg Code, a set of ethical principles for human experimentation. Yet, even with justice served to some perpetrators, the victims' suffering remains beyond measure. Walking through the preserved barracks of these camps today, the air feels heavier, as if the walls remember every cry, every plea, every life extinguished in the name of a twisted vision of progress. As Nazi Germany collapsed in 1945, its leaders scrambled to hide the vast wealth they had plundered from across occupied Europe. Gold bars, priceless artworks, and sacred artifacts vanished into mines, bunkers, and secret vaults, much of it never recovered. These hidden fortunes have fueled decades of treasure hunts, conspiracy theories, and tantalizing discoveries. One of the most legendary mysteries is the Amber Room, a dazzling chamber of carved amber panels, gold leaf, and mirrors, once hailed as the eighth wonder of the world. Looted from Russia's Catherine Palace by the Nazis in 1941, it was transported to Königsberg and vanished amid Allied bombing. Despite countless searches, its fate remains unknown. Then there's the legend of the Nazi Gold Train, an armored train supposedly loaded with gold, jewels, and stolen art, hidden in secret tunnels beneath Poland. In 2015, treasure hunters using ground-penetrating radar believed they'd found it, sparking a media frenzy. Excavations revealed only empty tunnels, but believers insist the hoard is still out there, waiting. Smaller finds occasionally emerge. Chests of coins buried in Bavarian fields, paintings looted from Jewish families turning up in private collections, crates of weapons rusting in alpine lakes. Each discovery adds another piece to a puzzle that may never be complete. For historians, these treasures are more than lost riches. They are evidence of cultural destruction on a staggering scale. For adventurers, they are an irresistible lure, a chance to uncover a piece of forbidden history. And for the victims' families, they represent stolen legacies that can never truly be restored. From tunnels carved in darkness to graves hidden beneath a dictator's feet, from caches sealed in walls to treasures lost to time, the remnants of Nazi Germany still rise from the shadows to remind us of its cruelty and ambition. Each discovery is a fragment of a nightmare, forcing us to confront a past that refuses to stay buried. They are not just relics, they are echoes of suffering, greed, and fear, warning signs etched into history itself. And yet, as more of these finds emerge, one unsettling thought lingers. If so much has been uncovered in 80 years, what horrors might still lie hidden, waiting for the earth to give them back?